Daddy?
No, as soon as I kicked in, it was the TikToks.
No.
I was hoping to get there early enough because I assumed y'all were going to talk about the Montgomery brawl, so I wanted to give my 2 cents on that.
No, we
Actually, we
didn't.
did.
I was
We did.
I was a little surprised. I thought that was going to wind up in the top three.
Oh, okay.
You know, I was don't let that stop you from, making your own
I was
discussion.
just thinking about that since it hasn't been discussed. Maybe I'll
What
do
wasn't
those
discussed?
sometime.
What are we talking about?
The Montgomery brawl. You're not familiar in Montgomery, Alabama? Like one of those. It was a riverboat brawl in Montgomery, Alabama. Dude, it's not 1955, Pete. It's we didn't get into it, but
No, haven't seen anything about that.
So the people that the dude got
Google
off,
it. It's wild.
the dude got off the riverboat to move somebody's boat because they weren't supposed to be parked there. He was just going to move the boat and park this riverboat. And the owner of the boat that they were moving came out and like it went to fisticuffs quick.
Real fast.
And then the like people just started flying. It started out as all white dudes and they started flying like out of nowhere. Like one dude tackled the guy, but it just turned into a fucking melee. And everybody
The captain of the big boat was supposed to dock, but the place that he was supposed to dock was already occupied by a guy in a small dinghy that wasn't supposed to be there. So the black captain got off of his patron's boat to go and ask the guy, dude, can you move your shit?
I didn't see a single thing about that in my Facebook feed. Most of what I saw was
those six
people talking about
guys,
the kid downstate that the 3-year-old
got run
over by the 18-year-old.
Right. So those six white guys just started whooping that dude's ass.
They all just jumped in.
Oh shit!
The crew from his boat, like one dude jumped in the water and swam over.
Yeah,
ran over.
That's the part that I found really entertaining because I got to tell you, man, I swim that far. I'm exhausted. He swam through a fucking river
and through hands.
50 feet. It had to be like 50 fucking feet. I really thought the one I sent fucking
the memes on this have been amazing. Like they're calling it the Nig Avengers.
Oh Christ!
Because they just started appearing out of nowhere. Yeah, it's a thing.
I mean, so look, can you take it back a little bit? There's this one kid that jumps in to like try to help the captain.
Which one's the captain here?
The one getting his ass handed to him. The one on the ground.
Black and white.
The one on the ground. Okay.
All right. Here comes a couple more bystanders. Oh,
the guy in the red shorts.
They're beating the living shit.
Oh yeah,
they're really pounding on.
And
there's a fucking. Is that a cop?
Yes.
Dude, there's a cop right there.
Yeah,
there were a couple of.
You
cops
go over there
and
stop and don't do this.
Yeah.
So the white
if that was a
real
white,
effective.
If that was a white cop,
the white family that got arrested. The white family that got arrested, they then went to the hospital to get, various cuts and scrapes and broken teeth mended. They went to the hospital, looked around,
another fight there,
and saw that all of the staff was black. There were no white doctors to treat their injuries. And so the whoever was the spokesperson of the family said, "Oh, they're all niggers." Then they called the cops, and the cops told them, "You can either get treated at the hospital or you can leave." And the family left because they were afraid of getting their ass whooped in the hospital a second time.
Look around and find out.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. So the memes that are coming out of this are fucking gold. I have been pissing myself all afternoon just on TikTok looking at the memes that have come out of this. There was one dude, they whooped his ass. Like, he was wearing Crocs, but somehow the Crocs ended up around his shins.
Got knocked right through his Crocs.
Yeah.
And like, there's a scene in there where this like kid, he looks, he couldn't be like more 14 or 15. He comes up and he's trying to break the fight up. This grown ass man turns around, gut punches him, and takes another swing. And the kid just like, and then they go off camera. You never see either of. Well, no, you see the other guy.
I saw that. That was a 16-year-old kid. You're right. I remember.
He's
that.
just trying. He's just like, what the fuck's going on? He comes in, and this grown ass man like hits him.
Mm-hmm.
Like these people were just, they were looking, dude. They were looking for a fight,
and they got it.
Like they knew they shouldn't.
found one.
They knew they should. How do you not know? I'm sure there was signage there. It says, "Don't put your, don't whatever it's called."
So the apparently the guy has parked there illegally several times, and the captain has had to ask him, move your fucking boat, over and over and over. And usually the guy had done it in the past, just move the boat. But I guess this time, more liquid courage, more family members.
That had to be it. He had more. He had a, he wasn't intimidated. When he had a group of, his own, as the way he would, think about it. And it really seemed like a planned attack that was not planned very well.
It was not planned very well because the nigga Avengers assembled and
no, but I feel like these people walked into this going, we're gonna go kick that guy's ass, and then we're gonna go back to drinking. Like they thought everything's gonna be fine. You know what I mean?
But they were wrong.
I don't get the fucking mentality. I don't understand it. Why go picking a fight that doesn't need to be picked?
I think that they thought that it was going to be like every other.
He'll ask me to move. He'll ask me to move when he comes.
And I hate to put it this way, but like, generally speaking, when you have an entitled older white guy that's putting a black guy in his place, other black guys are taught to not interfere because, oh my God, that could be me. And that just kind of goes back down to slavery times where, you're watching Kunta get whipped and you don't say shit because that could easily be you.
You don't want to get whipped too.
Right. But this is the first time that, at least in recent memory, that you saw something happening and people realized, oh shit, we can do something about this.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think the white guys expected that because it's not usually what happens. What usually happens is we're going to make an example out of this guy. And everyone just sits back and watches and records, and oh my God, that's so horrible.
I guess, yeah. In Montgomery, Alabama, that would be the mindset,
right?
I don't believe that's the mindset in the Northeast.
Well,
I think
George Floyd was killed in front of a group of people in broad daylight
by cops.
Right.
Chicago.
But I'm saying, what would have happened if a group of Chicagoans decided to just swarm?
Or pick a fight with the biggest gang in the Illinois area? They're the big dude. Yeah. First of all, the cops are a gang. That's all they are.
True.
They're supposed to be on our side or whatever, but they're just they're a group of people that protect their own and it's.
There were only like 3. A mob of people could have easily just shoved them aside and done.
Right, but then more police are going to show up, and that's going to turn into a fucking thing.
Oh, that's going to be ugly real quick. I agree.
Right. In this particular scenario, it's all citizens, except for the one cop who just seemed like she was.
I think the difference is in this area, it would devolve into a free for all. There wouldn't be a hey, we got to go take care of the guy who's getting screwed here. Black, white, indifferent, just whoever was not wrong that is now at a disadvantage. We wouldn't be stepping up for that guy. It would be, shit, let's just go punch some motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And
hit somebody.
And that's fucked up.
Just hit somebody. Yeah. Right.
But I mean, That's the mentality that we've got in this area, and it's different. And Montgomery,
No, this really,
Birmingham, those are places where they've seen things differently. We had riots in Wilmington in the '60s with race stuff, but Montgomery, they had peaceful protests that went south.
like, yeah,
we had riots.
It wasn't their side that made it unpeaceful. It was the cops and dogs. And
yeah, I mean, that just at the very bare bones of it, we had riots. They had peaceful protests that went bad.
Right.
And there's a huge difference there.
But I mean, as I mentioned before, none of it really matters because this is just a slow march to hell, right? Like I didn't feel like there was. I mean, maybe I'm completely off the mark, and I say it all the time. But when we were teenagers and kids, like it wasn't. We didn't harp on it all the fucking time.
No,
we didn't. You didn't even think about it. You hung out with your friends. You know what I mean? Anyway, and it's hard for me to like believe that type of mentality still exists.
Good friend of mine, we were having a similar conversation. Hey, I don't remember this growing up. He says, I don't either. He said, and I grew up in the projects, and I went to schools where they put me on a bus so that I could be in a school with white kids, and I dated a couple of white girls. He says, and I don't remember racism. He said, I was a grown man before I bumped into what is really fucked up racism. And he said the way to think about it, he said the situations that I was in, where I came from, where I was going, I should have experienced it a lot sooner based on what everybody else has to say about it. And it's just, I think that's a testament to who we are as a generation.
My first taste, I was in kindergarten. I was Santa Claus, and I think I've told the story before. I was Santa Claus in the school play, and when I came out from the chimney, a parent stood up and said, "Santa Claus is black."
Ah, that's just awful.
And it's so I have like no memories of my own childhood, but I remember that, and I just kind of like sat back down and didn't know what to do. My mom was pissed.
I bet.
But it became a thing. Like I remember the adults arguing, and then my mother ended up talking to me afterwards, and yeah, I don't remember any of the other conversations that we ever had, but I remember clearly that woman standing up. Santa Claus is black, and I didn't realize that. Like it didn't occur to me. I just didn't know it.
Yeah, like
race
in your
wasn't
mind,
in my brain.
No, Santa Claus was Santa Claus.
Well, Santa. I mean,
yes.
I get. And I would assume in your house, now you had a beard in kindergarten. Were you 20? No, but it would appear to like. I feel like. Would you think that? Wouldn't you just think Santa Claus is black? Like, or Santa Claus is just like you? Like it didn't
but it didn't matter.
Right. It wasn't a thing. Like to me, Santa Claus was the guy with the beard in the chimney with the gifts. There wasn't a like skin tone didn't exist in my brain until someone told me that it was a thing.
Yeah.
I just thought it was the bearded guy.
And guess what?
Bag.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if people have black Santas.
No.
It doesn't matter. Because Santa Claus Santa as we know it was coined by a department store to sell toys.
Yeah, that's it.
And the image of Santa Claus that we all like was created and propelled by the Coca-Cola Corporation.
Now it has its roots in Germanic lore and other, Anglo traditions. There's many roots in Christmas, and there's some beautiful things. But Santa, as we know it, is a manifestation of a businessman. Somebody came up with that as an idea. And they did, it was before they figured out how to copyright shit. So once one mall fucking came up with this idea, they just all took it. And so that's where we get this bullshit notion of Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Santa Claus fucks with kids' heads.
Oh yeah.
I remember like wondering what Santa Claus was going to bring me and so excited. And I remember that, that wonder, but then like once you figure out that there's no Santa Claus, it's a drag, man.
It can be, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it kind of hurt. Like it hurts.
And on a lot of levels, this thing that you put so much stock in is not real.
Right. This thing that was forced upon you.
They loved you, have now lied to you. They told you that this thing was, and it's not. And now they freely admit that they were lying to you.
I had a friend who used to say that he worked hard to give his kids gifts for Christmas. So why would he let someone else take the credit for what he bought?
Right.
No, Santa didn't leave that. Daddy got that for you. Because Daddy works hard and he loves you.
It always irritated it, especially when I was a parent. Like, I think that's when it started here because I liked, I figured out when I was probably about 11 or 12. It's later, and people tell you or whatever, but when you really figure it out, my son, however, it's my 20-year-old, my younger boy, absolutely refuses to not believe in Santa Claus. He's like, you can believe whatever the fuck you want. There's Santa Claus is real, and I admire him. I was like, I look at my son in awe and wonder sometimes, just because his innocence is so prevalent.
Even if it's not the actual person, but just the construct of good during that.
Right. There's this love.
That's where I've taken it as I've gotten older, and I can get down with that as an idea. But the commercialism of Christmas, it's not the commercial. Partially the commercialism, but the thing that bugs me the most about holidays, and I've always been this way, is that there is this bullshit, fake, superficial idea that on one hand people will say peace on earth, goodwill towards men, but not let you over in traffic.
Yeah.
Right. So to me, like, there's this big fakeness of love everyone, but you don't mean that shit. So I'd rather have I'd rather someone be real than have that fake bullshit, high pressure, gotta do this, gotta do that, gotta run around and sing songs. And like all of a sudden everyone believes in Jesus all of a sudden. It's weird.
There's a secularization of Christmas. That's why they put the X in front of it instead of, they take the Christ out, is the whole, so there's a secular Christmas and there's a religious Christmas. Yeah. It's a good time to feast.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's the whole point. It's that you're not going to see each other probably through January and February and March. You're probably not going to see each other until the weather breaks, is the custom, right?
Yeah.
And you need to celebrate with your family and show everybody that you love them. It's a good time to do it because it's a depressing time.
Yes.
Here, Pete left. He's like, "Fuck this."
He just dropped his.
Still here.
I had a friend tell me that he said, "Fuck the holidays, eat the cookies." You know what I'm saying? Like don't worry about it. Just just enjoy the cookies. Like I can do that.
Well, I mean, people say, "Oh, you won't say Merry Christmas, say Happy Holidays." But if you take a step back, I think it's 20-something or 30-something holidays that fall between Halloween and I think St. Patrick's Day.
Right.
So yeah, it is the holiday season. There's most of the holidays are lumped at that end of the year. So Happy Holidays works because and honestly, a lot of the religious organizations, a lot of the religions aren't like hooray for me and fuck you. It's they're like, hey, whatever it takes for you to get down, we're going to be over here doing our thing. Thanks. Like the Hindus and the and the Buddhists, they believe that whatever your thing is, that's cool too. And the Buddhists especially will come and celebrate your thing with you because they like celebrating.
Yeah, celebrating's fun. Let's celebrate everything. I dig it. So we got anything else to talk about? Because we just did a whole like secret block.
Yeah. Luckily I was looking up. Luckily we left the stream on.
Yeah. I think you're
dropped audio.
I think you're the host. So
okay. So you need me to shut that off. But
yeah,
at some point we'll have to go back and clip that out because that was a good conversation.
It was worth. That's why I didn't shut it down or didn't talk about shutting it down. It's because, I felt it was a worthwhile